You just got up for a second, turned around, and boom! Your dog has already taken over your favorite seat. You laugh and think, it probably just wants a warm spot. But what if I told you that this isn't just harmless mischief? What if there's a hidden psychological and instinctual reason behind this behavior? Would you believe it? The truth is, this action is far from random. It could be a way of expressing love, a survival instinct, or even a secret message your dog is trying to send you. So, what are they really trying to say? And have you unknowingly trained them to do this without even realizing it? No need to guess anymore. Let's dive into the first reason, and you might just discover that you've been the one reinforcing this habit all along. Dogs are masters of habit formation. If you sit in the same chair every day, you unintentionally create a throne they are eager to experience. Animal behavior studies have shown that dogs learn through observation and repetition. If you consistently allow them to sit in your spot whenever you leave, over time, they start seeing it as a given. You get up, the spot is empty, they jump in. A simple yet incredibly effective formula that they have perfected. You might think, so what? They just like sitting there. That's true, but it's also a clear example of how habits are formed in an animal's mind. Have you ever unknowingly trained your dog to do this without realizing it? If so, share your story in the comments. It might be even funnier than you think. But habit formation isn't the only reason dogs take over your seat. There's another fascinating factor at play. They imitate you. It may sound strange, but dogs are incredible observers and skilled at mirroring human behavior. A study from the University of Vienna found that dogs can mimic their owner's actions in remarkable ways, even down to small habits like sitting in a particular spot. This means that if you frequently sit in the same place, your dog might want to do the same. Picture this. Every evening, you sit down on the couch to watch TV. Then, you suddenly get up to grab a drink. Within seconds, your dog has taken your place, curling up as if they were you. In reality, they're not just seeking a comfortable seat. They're trying to be like you in their own way. Do you think this behavior proves that your dog observes and understands you more than you realize? If you found this interesting, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss more surprising insights into dog behavior. But dogs don't always take your seat just because they want to be like you or out of habit. Sometimes they simply seek comfort. Have you ever noticed that they tend to choose soft, warm places to rest? That's because, just like humans, dogs enjoy feeling cozy. But there's a deeper reason behind this. Your scent. Your scent is incredibly special to them. It's like an invisible security blanket wrapping around them. To a dog, the world can be chaotic and unpredictable, but being near their owner's scent helps them feel calm and safe. This is especially true for puppies or newly adopted dogs who are still adjusting to their new environment. If you've ever seen your dog settle into the spot you just left and fall asleep peacefully, they might simply be looking for a sense of security. And if they leave behind a little mark, like some fur or their own scent, it's just their way of making your seat feel even more like home. So next time you see your dog curled up on your chair, don't be too quick to move them. Take a moment to observe. Are they seeking comfort from your scent? Or maybe they just want to feel close to the person they love the most. If that's the case, would you let them stay a little longer? However, dogs don't always take your seat just for comfort. Sometimes their behavior is driven by a more primal instinct, temperature regulation. On a cold winter day, the moment you get up, your dog immediately jumps into the warm spot you just left. On the other hand, during hot summer days, they avoid warm places and seek out cool tile floors instead. This isn't a coincidence. Dogs have thick fur covering their bodies, and unlike humans, they don't sweat to regulate their body temperature. Instead, they have to find external spots that provide the right temperature balance. A chair you just vacated is the perfect spot. Warm enough in the winter, yet easy to cool off from when needed. And if you own a breed like a husky or malamute, you'll notice they are particularly sensitive to this. On the other hand, smaller breeds like Chihuahuas tend to seek out the warmest spots because they get cold easily. That explains why you often see your dog burrowing under blankets or lying on top of you during chilly nights. Have you noticed your dog doing this too? If so, try paying attention to whether they tend to take your seat more often during certain seasons. You might discover something interesting. And if you enjoy these kinds of insights, don't forget to follow the channel for more surprising facts about dog behavior. But if you think your dog only takes your seat out of personal preference, think again. There's another reason that might surprise you. They are marking their territory. Have you ever noticed that when you introduce a new pet into the household, your dog suddenly becomes more interested in your chair? This is not a coincidence. When there's competition for space, dogs instinctively leave their scent on key areas. And nothing is more important than your seat. By occupying your chair, your bed, or even your clothes, they are sending a clear message. This belongs to my human, which means it belongs to me. This behavior is deeply rooted in their primal instincts. In the wild, controlling territory is essential for survival. Even if your dog gets along well with other pets in the house, they still want to establish their special claim over certain spaces. This explains why, if you have a cat, you might notice similar behavior, sleeping on your clothes, rubbing against you, or even jumping onto your keyboard while you're working. If you've ever seen your dog take your seat the moment another pet enters the room, leave a comment. Do you think they are guarding their spot, or are they just looking for attention? But not all cases of seat stealing are about territorial marking. Sometimes it comes from an entirely different instinct: protection. Dogs don't just guard food, toys, or their owners. They also guard their owner's seat. Have you ever noticed that when you step away from your chair for a moment, your dog doesn't just take your spot, but also seems watchful when someone else approaches? This is a sign that they consider it their responsibility to protect that space. In the wild, stray dogs will guard their sleeping areas from intruders, and this instinct still exists in domesticated dogs today. Imagine this. You get up to grab a drink, and when you return, not only has your dog taken your seat, but they're also looking at you as if to say, "Don't worry, I saved this for you." Adorable, right? But if your dog growls or refuses to move when someone else approaches, this could be a sign of excessive guarding behavior. If you notice your dog becoming too possessive over your seat, observe their reaction closely. If they show signs of overprotectiveness, gently guide them using positive reinforcement training rather than scolding them. After all, they're simply acting on instincts that have been ingrained in their species for thousands of years. But have you ever felt like your dog deliberately takes your seat just to get your attention? If you've been busy all day and haven't interacted much with them, this might actually be the real reason. Think about it. When you're watching TV or scrolling through your phone, does your dog nudge you with their nose or drop a toy at your feet? These are their ways of saying, "Hey, I need you." And if those subtle signals don't work, they'll move on to a surefire method: taking your seat. They know that when you see them lying comfortably in your spot, you have to react. And whether it's a pat on the head or a playful scolding, it's still attention. Exactly what they wanted. Do you think this describes your dog? If so, try noticing whether they do this more often on days when you're busier than usual. If the answer is yes, maybe it's time to give them some extra quality time. And if you've made it this far, It means you're truly curious about your dog's behavior, which is amazing. If you enjoy learning more about your furry friend, make sure to subscribe so you never miss out on more fascinating insights. They know that when you see them lounging comfortably in your seat, you have to react. And whether that reaction is a head pat or a playful scolding, it's still attention, exactly what they were hoping for. Does this sound like your dog? If so, try paying attention to whether they do this more often on days when you're busy. If that's the case, it might be time to give them some extra quality time. And if you've read this far, it means you truly care about understanding your dog's behavior, which is amazing. If you enjoy content like this, don't forget to hit follow so you don't miss more fascinating insights. But wait, could your dog be taking your seat for an entirely different reason? To regulate their body temperature? If you own a Chihuahua, Pomeranian, or another thin-coated breed, you may have noticed that they love to jump into spots that retain warmth, especially places that still have your body heat. On cold winter days, the seat you just left is the perfect place to stay warm. On hot summer days, however, they tend to avoid warm areas and seek out cool tile floors or shaded spots under furniture. This isn't random behavior. Unlike humans, dogs don't sweat to regulate their body temperature. Instead, they instinctively seek the most suitable environment to stay warm or cool. That's why you'll notice them changing locations throughout the day, curling up on the couch in the morning, then sprawled out on the cold floor by afternoon. This instinct is not just about comfort. It's one of the ways they self-regulate their body temperature. If your dog strategically takes your seat at certain times of the day, take note. Are they trying to stay warm or cool off? If this sounds like your dog, pay attention to their patterns and let us know in the comments. You might not be the only one who has noticed this. But have you ever felt that your dog enjoys showing off a little? When you get up from your seat, instead of just casually sitting down, does your dog take their new position with a sense of pride? Sitting upright, head held high, surveying the room as if they were in charge? If so, there's a good chance your dog is trying to demonstrate their position within the household. In the world of dogs, social hierarchy matters. Some dogs naturally test boundaries to see if they can move up in the pack ranking, and one of the most subtle yet clever ways they do this is by taking your seat. This behavior is especially common in breeds with strong pack instincts, such as Huskies, Malamutes, and German Shepherds. But does this mean your dog is trying to dominate you? Not necessarily. In fact, this behavior is often misunderstood. Most dogs don't take your seat because they want to be the leader of the pack. They're simply testing their influence over their surroundings. Here's how you can tell. If you reclaim your seat and your dog moves aside without hesitation, there's no issue. However, if your dog growls, refuses to move, or acts possessive, it could be a sign that they need clearer rules and boundaries. If that happens, it's important to establish consistent leadership through positive reinforcement training. So next time your dog takes your seat, don't just dismiss it as random behavior. Are they looking for warmth, attention, or is there something deeper behind it? Whatever the reason, their behavior always has meaning. You just have to know how to read it. Have you ever experienced this? Does your dog react when you try to move them off your seat? If so, share your story in the comments. You might not be the only one. But if it's not about testing their rank, staying warm, or seeking attention, could there be a simpler reason behind this behavior? Could it be that your dog just wants to be close to you? Think about it. When you stand up, your scent is still there. Your body heat lingers on the surface, and if there's one thing that's certain, it's that your dog loves you more than anything else. Dogs are pack animals, and by instinct, they always want to be near the members they trust the most. When they jump into your seat the moment you leave, it might simply be their way of staying connected to you, even when you're not there. This is especially true for dogs with strong attachment tendencies or those with a history of abandonment. They don't want to be apart from you, even if it's just a chair's distance away. Taking your seat isn't about control. It's one of the most powerful ways they express their love. If you've ever seen your dog curl up in your seat, let out a deep sigh of contentment, and settle in peacefully, then you've witnessed one of the most heartwarming moments of dog companionship. It's that moment when you realize you're not just their owner, you're their entire world. So the next time you see your dog take your seat, don't just dismiss it as a habit or playful mischief. It could be their way of saying, "I just want to be close to you." And could you really say no to that? Now you know, dogs don't take your seat just to be mischievous. It could be their way of showing love, seeking comfort, or even protecting you. Whatever the reason, the most important thing is that they're communicating with you in their own unique way. So next time your dog takes your seat, pay close attention. What are they really trying to tell you? You might just understand them better than ever before. Does your dog do this often? Share your story in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more fascinating insights into dog behavior. Have you ever noticed these signs of apology in your own dog? Share your experience in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow dog lovers. See you in the next video.